Hi, I'm Lee Partridge and welcome back to Col U TV for another midweek show. Lots seems to have happened once again in the last 7 days with the news of our new first team head coach, Danny Cowley, and first team assistant, Nicky Cowley, joining us here at Colchester United. If you haven't already seen their first introduction to the club, their first days here, and some behind the scene footage, do go across to our YouTube channel where you can catch up with all of that. On the show tonight, we'll have action and reaction from the Swindon game. We'll also hear from Danny and Matt. We've got a compilation of Joe Taylor's goals, the 12 goals he scored for us here in the first part of this season. We've got news in the Essex Senior Cup with our under-21s at Walthamstow. We've got the Goal of the Month winner, Shay Cooper, and also an interview with the man himself. We'll have a look at some other games the under-21s have got lined up. And also, we know many of you want to create a scarf display for the first home game for Danny and Nicky here against Bradford. So if you've got your scarves at home, please do bring them along. If not, you can get some, and you can get your scarves at the club shop where we've got plenty for you, and be part of that fantastic display here against Bradford. Right, let's kick off the show with the action and the reaction from Swindon at the weekend.
Danny, 48 hours in the job, fantastic ending to your first game in charge.
Yeah, it was an exciting ending for sure. We made it really difficult for ourselves. I was really pleased with the commitment and the intensity, particularly at the top end of the pitch, against the ball in the first half. But ultimately we conceded two really soft goals. I mean, the first goal is a really soft penalty. I need to see it back. It looks soft, but two goals from second phase, so that's something that we need to work on and something that we can eradicate pretty quickly. I was disappointed with us first half on the ball. I didn't think we showed enough personality and enough courage to get on the ball and to get playing. And this is so important for us to look after the ball in possession, because if we want to play a high pressing game, we have to fuel that press by looking after the ball and taking care of it. We didn't do that first half. Probably, I said at half time, just we needed a little bit more personality in that moment. And at Noah Chilvers, I thought, first half, a technical player, really hard to play well as a technical player when the team doesn't play well, but he played with real personality first half. And what was great is there was such a fantastic reaction second half, and the players, second half I was proud of them. I thought actually we dominated the game second half, played in their half, and thoroughly deserved the equaliser.
And even when attacks broke down and Swindon got back on the ball, they weren't able to clear it, and it was almost like played in one half. I think we said halfway through the second half that Owen was pretty much a spectator, was watching it, the game same as we were.
Yeah, I did think about taking Owen off and try to get another attacking player on, because I don't know how many attacking players we ended the game with. But no, we had good control, and credit to the players, because we played in their half, and even when our attacks did break down, we suffocated them, we didn't let them out, and we recycled the ball, and that's how we like our teams to play. I think for us, we want to dominate the ball in the attacking half. I think we can be more creative and create more chances for the amount of domination that we had. But I have to say I'm proud of the way the players responded, because when you go 2-0 down and you've conceded 2 soft goals and you come off the back of a really difficult run like they have, you can easily go under in that moment, and lesser men, lesser people, lesser teams actually would have gone under. We didn't. We showed a lot of courage, a lot of bravery, kept fighting, and you can never beat the man that never gives up. And we went to the end and found our just rewards.
Yeah, and of course we always want to go into a game winning it, but if you can't win it, it's great not to lose it, especially in the way that we gained that point.
Yeah, I think so. Listen, for us, I'm not jumping through hoops. I got excited when we scored for sure, but no, it's a point. For me, I want my team to be winners. You know, I like winning. My life's a lot better when we win, and I expect our teams to win. But we take a point, and I think the way that we did it and the fact that we kept going right to the end and the players got their awards, actually, in the long term, it'll become much more than a point, because I think it actually gives us a platform to push on from.
And everyone, players and supporters, will feel that they got something out of a game that.
The supporters were incredible. Were absolutely incredible. From the first minute, they just got behind the boys. Before that, in the game, in the warm-up, they were driving the energy, and I felt really proud to be associated with the club. Just from do you know what really defined them for me today is that we went 2-0 down, and you know, our supporters have not had an easy time in recent weeks, but they stayed with the players, and to a man, all the players in that dressing room all said, how good were the supporters today, how good were the fans, and it means so much to all of us. And listen, we all know the challenge in front of us. This was never going to be an easy challenge. For Nicky and I, we've always run towards a challenge. That's always been the way that we've lived our lives. But we're going to need everybody associated with the club, everyone that has Colchester United in its heart, to really stick together, because it's not going to be an easy journey. We understand what's in front of us, but if we can stay together and we can keep fighting, we'll find our way.
And for you, enjoying your first game, how short-lived is that before you start thinking about next week and a whole week's training ahead of the game against Bradford next weekend? Yeah,
of course. So we'll get back on the coach, and we'll watch the game back, and we'll clip it for the players, and we'll take our learning from it, and then we'll come back into work on Monday and review the game, take the learning, as I said, and then reflect, and then start to turn our focus to Bradford City, because it's a great game. It's our first home game as well. Bradford are a huge club, a really well supported club, and we need everybody associated with Colchester to come out and get behind the players, because we'll get better and better from here, that's for sure.
Brilliant, thanks. Matt, first things first, can we talk about the equalising goal right at the end, because there's a dispute about who got the goal?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter as long as the ball went over the line, and I had a bit of a tricky view from the bench. But yeah, I think I would personally give it to Connor, given it's his debut. But I think Brad's out here speaking to the ref and trying to get loads of different angles in it. But to be honest, I don't really care.
No, and it must have been a really happy dressing room, that all that second half pressure. Mm-hmm. We got at least a point about it. Of course, we wanted to win the game, but the point's decent in that.
I think we got what we deserved, but maybe we think we deserved a bit more given the chances that we created in the first half, and the amount of control we had in the second half. So I think, look, we're slightly disappointed to come away with a point, but I think at 90 minutes, if you're 2-1 down, you definitely take a point. So that was pleasing.
Yeah, and obviously Danny and Nicky have only been in the building 48 hours by the time kick-off came.
Yep.
you know, how much information have they managed to get into you, and how good has it been to work under them, even though it's been only 48 hours?
Yeah, I mean, they gave us a lot of information, but they made it very clear that they didn't want to give us too much, which is important. I think, you know, we've worked with numerous managers this year, or numerous managers since I've been here, so it's not something that I've been used to, but they kind of came in and gave us clarity on a lot of really important things, and things that we probably needed to work on off the back of the last game. But look, we had 2 training sessions. One was in the Dome and one was on an Astro turf in Shrub End, so it's not ideal for them, but they've done really well with us, and they made the group feel, you know, really important and well respected, I think, and they've made sure that they've spoken to everyone and sort of gave them the confidence that they needed. And I think that showed today. I think there was a lot of really good performances out there today.
And in that second half, it did look like everyone was confident that we could keep that pressure up, because even when Swindon won the ball back, they never seemed to get in in our half, and we were able to start attacks again. Did we create enough clear-cut chances from that possession? Maybe not, but certainly, you know, it was a really strong second half performance.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in that situation many times before, when you are 2-1 up and it's backs against the walls and you're just trying to defend for your lives, and it is difficult. But we certainly did that. We did that well. We had very much a foothold in the game, and it's difficult once you get up there to sort of create those clear-cut chances, because they've got so many bodies in the middle of the pitch. But I think one way of rectifying that is to not be 2-0, 2-1 down, and that's something that we obviously didn't want. 2 poor goals from us. It's been a bit of a story of the season, some poor goals to give away, and we had to work quite hard for our goals. So yeah, no, I think it's stuff to work on, but it's been really positive so far.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot about the second half because we had a lot of the ball, but the comeback started towards the end of the first half, where we got back at them a bit, and of course your first goal for Colchester United.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit too long time coming, but look, I'm delighted. It's been something that's been on my back for a while. I've obviously not had loads of chances. The management team came in and said, look, I think you've been playing a little bit too deep, and I want to get you up higher up the pitch, and I had a few chances in the game. A really, really good block, which I was a bit disappointed with, but hopefully this is the start of something good, and I'm delighted to have scored. And you know, not many people would put me down to score a header, I don't think, but that's where I come alive a little bit.
Wasn't even your first header of the game, was it?
No, really good save for the second. Yeah, for the first one, but no, I didn't care if it came off wherever, my nose, my bum, I'm not bothered.
We spoke to Danny about this week now being important, the fact that he can have a whole week on the training pitch with you ahead of next weekend's game.
Yeah, like I said, they did wonders in the 2 days that they had with us under difficult circumstances, but I think they'll be able to put a lot more messages across to us, and we'll be able to reflect this game at depth. And yeah, look, I think that dressing room felt like we'd won. It was a bit of a weird one. Obviously, we only came away with a point, but to score so late, it feels like a win. So there's some good spirit in the dressing room at the moment, and you know, we're going to have to come through some hard times, but we know next week's going to be a toughie.
Yeah, and last question from me is, the players must feel that they and the supporters getting at least a point here was the least that we deserved.
Yeah, and the supporters were great today. I mean, it's a difficult stadium to come to, because you're kind of looking at the back there and there's nothing there, but they packed out the left side as I'm standing here, and my brother and his partner actually came up from Devon, so that was nice to see them. Maybe they're going to have to come up a little bit more often to watch. So, but yeah, no, they were great, and hopefully they go away happy.
A fantastic point there against Swindon, especially being 2-0 down. And in Danny's words, you'll never beat a man that doesn't give up. What a great phrase that is. Also great to see Matt on the score sheet. And as both of them have said, you know, they felt that we could have got more out of the game, especially dominating so much in the second half. But we'll take a point. We certainly will, again, after being 2-0 down. And like they said, a big shout out and a massive mention to the 350 plus fans that made their way to Swindon and were heard so loud by all the players. You heard Danny talking to the rest of the players as they was in the change room, saying about how good all you travelling fans were at the weekend, before the game, during, and especially at the end. Right, let's look at some more goals. Joe Taylor, you may have seen, has been recalled by his club. But while he was with us, he scored 12 goals in the first half of the season. So let's take a look at a compilation of all those goals. a compilation of all Joe Taylor's 12 goals he scored with us here at the first half of the season. He's been recalled by his club, so we wish him the best and thank him for his time here at Colchester. Talking of goals, it's time to take a look at December's Goal of the Month winner, and it was chosen by you, and it was Shay Cooper's goal against Salford. Let's take a look at the goal.
Mariappa, will he be robbed by Akinde onto Cooper? Cooper will win it for Colchester United, and the youngster slots it home. Mistake by a defender. It fell to Akinde. He saw Cooper to his left, and Cooper was always going to do that. They lead Salford. It's Colchester United 2, Salford City 0, and well done, Jay Cooper.
December's Goal of the Month there, scored by Shay Cooper against Salford. A very, very cool, calm finish, but we must mention the assist from Big John at Akinde. Moving on to the under-21s now, who played Walthamstow last night in the Essex Senior Cup. Let's take a look at the highlights and then the post-match reaction.
Paul, a tough match against Walthamstow FC in the fourth round of the BBC Essex Senior Cup, but we've progressed, and that's all that matters in the end, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We're in the next round of the hat, but like you say, it was a tough game. They put on a good show really for them. The pitch wasn't great for us and the football we want to play, but it was always going to be tough coming here at Walthamstow. We know what they're about, and they was always going to raise their game to try and get into the next round of the hat.
And of course, you'll try looking at the positives from today's game, and that's probably not conceding a goal over 90 minutes. Were you sort of happy with the defensive performance this evening?
Yeah, listen, I'm not a stats man, but I think if you look at all the stats, we would have had a lot of the football, especially in their half. They did have chances, but like you say, it was good to get a clean sheet, and especially with Tom coming in and some other players we had come back today, it was good to get them involved.
And you've mentioned Tom, you named quite a strong starting 11 today with a few senior players featuring. Is it about getting minutes or getting their confidence up? What's the reason behind them featuring tonight?
Yeah, I think it's lack of minutes maybe with the first team. The new management's come in and want to see players get minutes, and we was allowed to have a few of them today, and they put on a good show, got through it and as much as they could, and they was allowed to get through, and like you say, to get into the next round, that's what we come here for.
And what did you make of the penalty shootout this evening as well? Obviously, it's a lottery when it comes to penalties, but we managed to get through in the end.
Yeah, I think we was quite calm, and the lads that took them was very positive, and even with Tom saving 2 and 1 going wide, he was fantastic in there, and his attitude all night was very, very good.
And then looking forward to the next round, we'll either face Canvey Island or Buckhurst Hill in the next round at the stadium. Are your thoughts sort of going to that game now, or are you going to take it sort of easy for now and focus on the games that are coming up in the next week or so?
Yeah, I think the next important one is the next game. It's in 3 days' time, so it's another big game against Swansea. So we have to take each game as it comes and look forward to that one in the coming weeks.
Khan, a tough game against Walthamstow FC tonight. What did you make of your overall performance this evening?
To be fair, I think the main thing to take out of the game today was the boys showed great character. I think obviously it's not an easy place to come and not a particularly great pitch to play on, but yeah, to still come away and get into the next round, that's all we can ask for really.
And you have to look at the positives from today, and that's perhaps not conceding any goals.
Yeah.
But in the attacking phase, were you sort of disappointed not to get yourself ahead on a couple of occasions there?
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like, I mean, myself in particular, I'll always be harsh on myself, but I know Brad had a few, and I had a few fall to me on the edge as well, which on another day I might take. But I feel like it was maybe just one of those days where things just weren't really falling for us, and listen, that happens, but as I say, we're still through into the next round, and we still qualify. Hopefully we get a good tie next.
Yeah, as we said, mentioning the positives, if you can't score, you're probably looking at not conceding and keeping yourself in the tie, and that's what I think you did in during this performance. Is that how you saw it as well?
Yeah, no, 100%. Obviously there was a lot of stuff that we worked on in training, so we treated these guys like any other team that we'd come up against. So obviously I feel like as a defensive unit we were very, very solid, but it's the more thing about being ruthless and taking our chances at the other end of the pitch.
And then when the clash goes into penalties, what are the thoughts that sort of pop into your head, knowing that the penalty shootout is basically a lottery?
Yeah.
Did you feel confident, or were you worried at any point?
Yeah, no, I'll always back the boys, but I feel like we may not have, if we took our chances, we may not have ended up going to penalties, but listen, we still won anyway, so you take it and into the next round, which is the most important thing. As
you mentioned, the next round, and you'll get to play at home this time in front of the home fans. Does that change anything? Does it make it perhaps less tough than playing away?
Yeah, I feel like as a young squad, it's always good to have a good away day, especially teams in this league, and it's always a difficult challenge. But obviously, I hope we get a good turnout, and we can really put on a good show at our home ground for the fans.
The highlights and the post-match reaction from our under-21s against Walthamstow last night in the Essex Senior Cup. Right, that's about it from me, but once again to mention that so many of you want to do a scarf display and are encouraging all the fans to bring along their scarves. So please do bring all your scarves along for the Bradford game. If not, you can get your scarves from the club website and from the shop indeed ahead of the Bradford game. Right, that's about it from me. Have a great week, whatever you're up to. I'll be back for a pre-match show on Saturday ahead of that Bradford game. Until then, have a great week. It's goodbye for now.